Love that you brought in Nick Searcy, great actor for this one. Glad that Dan Bongino and his background was able to contribute to this, and some great folks in the Freedom Caucus and elsewhere. It looks like you all put together and came together to really expose what's happening in our nation. And if anybody, if they just remove themselves from politics for 30 seconds and look at how these alphabet agencies have been conducting themselves, especially in the last 2.5 years under the Biden regime, I don't know how anyone could come to any other conclusion that we are living in a police state.
We are most certainly moving in that direction. There are a couple of elements of classic police states that we do not see in the United States. So typically, police states historically have been established by some revolutionary overthrow of the government. Think of, Castro in Cuba, or even Lenin in the Soviet Union. We haven't had that here. Traditionally, police states also don't let you leave. They have a Berlin Wall. They have some kind of a block so people cannot exit them. We don't have that here, at least not yet. But a lot of the other elements, and you mentioned some of them earlier, but I would add to that list. You mentioned censorship, you mentioned surveillance, you mentioned political targeting.
Yep.
I would add that for the first time in our history, we now seem to have political prisoners.
Yes.
We also have the attempt to build a one-party state. Police states are one-party states. The opposition is eliminated. Doesn't mean that police states don't have elections, but they don't have effective opposition. They neutralize the opposition.
Right.
So that the opposition becomes a kind of extension of the police state itself. So all these things are creeping into our politics. And it's almost as if the ordinary American is a little bit like the animal, in a herd where you don't realize that there's a cheetah in the trees. And so I kind of feel like the animal, that this movie is a kind of a warning to the herd. Listen, we are moving into a very dangerous territory, and we need to take some preventive and protective action so that we do not become a full-fledged police state.